Alright, welcome back to another Starsand Island video. In this video, we're going to be talking about bees and how to use them properly and how they're probably the most overpowered thing in the game if you use them correctly. They're very misunderstood on how to use them correctly. So, first thing, you need to be an intermediate rancher in order to get the perk that I'm about to show you. And I'll show you in the skill tree. Right here underneath the intermediate, this is called bee blessings. So if you look, I'll just read level 3. When the bees return from gathering, they give your crops a huge growth boost. So normally people set their boxes and that's it, and they just produce honey, and that's all they really do with them. So instead of just producing honey, they'll boost your crop's growth rate significantly if you have them set up properly. But anyway, the other thing we need is a bee box. I've already bought it, but I'm going to show you where you need to grab it from. So come down here underneath intermediate, and it'll be in here if you it'll be up higher if you haven't bought it, but I've already bought it. So anyway, the bee house blueprint is what you're looking for there. Okay, and then the next thing that we need to do is go find some beehives to knock them down out of trees in order to make the bee boxes. So when you look at your map, the best luck I've had is up here by the flower corridor and the green meadow, and kind of where I'm standing right now up to the north up here in this field area. But anyway, I'm going to go search around for some, and when I find some, I will be back. Alright, so here is one of the beehives. This is what it looks like right there, hanging off of that branch right there. So you just want to chop the tree down and pick it up. It'll fall on the ground. So we got 1 honeycomb and 3 worker bees. Okay, you need 3 honeycombs to make a 1 box. Okay, and then 1 single box can hold up to 13 worker bees. Or it can hold a queen and 6 worker bees, because the queen takes up a lot of room. In my opinion, the queen bees are a waste of time. I would rather put 13 worker bees in there to help my crops grow. But that's what I prefer. And I can make more money doing that way, but if you want a queen bee, by all means, you can put your queen bee in there. The queen bee, you feed it royal honey, which you make in a feeder, and every few days it'll produce 1 worker bee. I prefer to just sell the queen bee, and I would use that 400 to buy another worker bee, and I'll just keep looking around, or I will just go buy worker bees if I need to fill up my boxes. They cost 400 a piece, so they're kind of pricey, but anyway, I'm going to keep looking around for some more honeycombs, and I will be back at the farm to make the bee box and show you how to set it up. Alright, we're back at the farm after running around getting all the beehives for honeycomb, and I ended up with 26 worker bees, which is enough for 2 boxes, so I'm going to make 2 bee boxes. So for 1, you need 6 hardwood planks and 3 honeycombs and 4 iron sheets. I doubled up because I'm making 2 boxes. So come to the bee house right here. Make 2 of these. Okay. Usually what I try to do is set my boxes in between where I have crops at. So these I'm going to put here, and I'll put another one over here. Okay. And I'm just going to fill this thing up with bees. Press Y to manage, and just sit here and tap A. It'll fill all the spots in. So while we're here, so if you put a queen bee in here, it'll take up those middle 7, and there'll be 3 on the left, 3 on the right. So that's what your setup will look like if you have a queen bee in here. And then you have to put royal honey in here for her to start producing actual worker bees, and I just think it's a waste of time to do it. But anyway, just in case you want to do it, I will show you where you can go make this stuff out. Or it's royal jelly. Sorry, royal jelly, not royal honey. I was calling it the wrong thing. Okay, so as you can see right now, they have little emblems on there right now all over them. There's a couple different reasons. This one, if you look over to the right side, it'll tell you what's going on. It says work stopped due to bad weather. So if it's raining or during the winter, if it's snowing, the bees won't do anything that day. So the bees aren't broken if they're not working that day. That's how they're designed to do it. Another reason that they could get that right there is if they don't have any flowers to pollinate with. So if they don't have enough flowers, they won't do anything either because they need to pollinate to help your stuff grow. So you need flowers. That's my next step here to tell you about. So I already have some moonflowers planted over here because I planned ahead because I knew what I was planning on doing. But anyway, you can get stuff from the moonlit forest because you're not able to buy flowers from the shop until, I'm not sure if it's intermediate or expert farmer, but you may not be there yet. So if you want to go ahead and get this set up and running before you get to that point with your farming quest line, you can just plant either the moonflowers, the mirage flowers, the sleep lily flowers, just whatever flowers you can get out of there. Because as you're harvesting stuff in the moonlit forest, you will get seeds every now and then whenever you pick stuff, and you can set this up that way. And anyway, so what I put the flowers on the other side. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's just how I do it. And this royal jelly is right here. You just need eggs and honey. So anyway, I'm actually going to cut over to my main playthrough game that is a really advanced world and show you how these bee boxes work when they're set up correctly. So I will be back in just a minute. Alright, I'm on my main save game here. I'm going to show you an example of how these bees are supposed to work to help your plants grow. So first I'm going to highlight all the flowers I have to make sure my bees can constantly have flowers to pollinate. So I have all these flowers for them. So if you have any bee boxes as I do, eventually you're going to need a bunch of flowers. And this is actually probably way too many flowers, but you can build them as you need them. Just keep checking your boxes when you put new boxes in and make sure it doesn't say they need flowers. But anyway, I'm going to run around and harvest a lot of this stuff, and then we'll wait for... So the bees are supposed to come around 1900, give or take. So we're going to try to time this up to where we can actually watch this process happen. Alright, so those are all completely picked up right there. And then we'll go over here and do these trees as well. Alright, so all those trees are harvested. No, this says 5 days until it's supposed to mature again. These say 7 days. These say 4 days, 6 days. There's multiple days on all these, is what it says it's supposed to take. Just to give you a reference of how fast these bees work when they really work properly. Okay, well that's happening. I'm actually going to go back over to my other spot that I have planted up too. Take this teleporter here. Okay, so this is at the Cloud Rest Lake, but I have this stuff here. I have to harvest all this really quick. Okay, and then let me... This is actually, it's going right now, you can see it in the distance, but here, I'm going to pop this. It's going to harvest all this. That's going to harvest all this. And you can watch it start repopulating if the bees are still out here. Okay, maybe they were already gone. But anyways, as you can see on these, they say 8 days. And if I come back tomorrow morning, these will probably be regrown. And as you can see, I just harvested all this, and you can see some of this stuff is already regrown here. So that's how quickly these bees work. And I'll go back to my other spot and see what happened over there. Alright, so as you can see, all these trees that said 6-7 days are ready to harvest again. Not all of them, but a good bit of them are. And if I wanted to, I could put another bee box or two in here and they would probably all be ready to pick again. So this is all done. So all these are regrown except for one right here. You can see this is starting to regrow already. So it just shaves all the days off, and you can make money way faster and accumulate crops way faster. And it's pretty overpowered, to be honest. One thing I will say about your flowers, because this is where people mess up at, they have to stay grown. They have to be fully grown flowers, or the bees won't do what they're supposed to do. So do not pick the flowers. Let them grow and stay like this. So that means if you have gathering robots, do not allow them to harvest your crops, because they will go harvest your flowers and mess up your whole bee operation. So any gatherers that you have, make sure you have them set to not gather crops. You only want to mess with animals if you're going to do this setup to where you have all these bees. But anyway, this is going to be the end of this little guide for how the bees work. If you have any questions or anything, or I need to explain something better, feel free to drop a comment and I'll answer it the best I can.